The best piece of advice I have for someone trying to succeed in the film industry or any creative space is if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're doing it wrong.
One of the best to ever do it.
What is freedom? I think I stole this from Bob Dylan, but maybe I stole this from Woody Guthrie. Freedom for me is waking up in the morning and going to sleep at night, and in between doing exactly what I want to do. What's the secret to happiness? The secret to happiness is finding something you love and then doing that for the rest of your life.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Site Review Tuesday. I'm Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success, and I want to say thank you for joining me. Now, here in a minute, we're going to get to reviewing one of your websites, and I do want to point out that while this has been pre-recorded, I'm hanging out in the chat, interacting with you guys live and answering your questions. Now, if you're interested in having your website reviewed, there's a link in the description below this video where you can submit your site. And in addition to getting a site review, I also offer a one-on-one session to each photographer who has had a site review done to help them answer any questions or assist in making any changes that they may want to make. Now, don't forget, we also live stream every Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, so I hope to see you there. Let's get into the site review.
Hi guys, this is Katie bringing you yet another Zenfolio live site review. I did want to remind everyone that this has been pre-recorded, but we'll be hanging out with you guys in chat in case you have any questions. And we definitely encourage you guys to chat with us on YouTube. Let us know any thoughts, comments, suggestions, opinions you might have as we go through this live site review with Fire and Ice Photography by Mark. I just want to thank Mark for submitting his site for our review. You can find his website at www.fireandicephoto.com. So today we're going to be looking at Mark's website, and let's go ahead and get started. So here, looking at Mark's homepage, we've got a homepage slideshow, and I did notice immediately that Mark is using his ability to incorporate a custom logo here in the header, which is great. If you have that option, it's definitely a nice thing to include to make your branding consistent and make you stand out a little bit rather than just using the standard stock display name element on your pages. So great use of the custom logo there. I also noticed immediately that it's very easy to navigate on this site. All of the site menu items lead exactly where you would expect to see them, and there's consistent branding throughout the site. So we'll consistently be seeing the Fire and Ice Photography custom logo, and overall, this is really a great site. It could use a few general updates, maybe some refreshments, but that's kind of what I'm here for. So we'll talk a little bit about those things as we go through the review. I did notice while I was looking over the site that there's some outdated content, but we'll have a closer look at those things as we get to them. So I did notice here on the home page that we've got some contact info already there, just right there on the home page, which is great for SEO. any text that's included on your pages would be indexed by search engines. So it helps your site be more easily discoverable by search engines like Google when you have this kind of text about your location, in case anyone near you is looking for photos. So that is great for SEO. I did notice that here on the homepage, the About message has been included, and that the same About message is what would display here in the About page. So it might be useful to incorporate the welcome message element. That way, you can have separate kind of language for the welcome message versus the About message, just in case that's at all interesting to you. I think that it might be helpful, just so that your visitors aren't exposed to exactly the same content, whether they're on your home page or whether they go to the About page looking for a little bit more information. So generally speaking, it is good to avoid redundancies where possible. I noticed something else here on the homepage. While it's great that you've culled your images and really pulled some of the more stunning images off your site to highlight here in the slideshow, these slideshow images on the homepage do have watermarks applied, which is not a deal breaker. It's a pretty subtle watermark, but at the same time, it can be a little distracting if you're really trying to highlight the technical capacity and the beauty of these images. It can just be a little distracting. Also, it might be helpful to set your slideshow to start again at the beginning of the slideshow once it's over. You do have the option in most layouts of setting the slideshow images to loop once that slideshow is over. So those are a couple of things that you might consider doing for the homepage slideshow here, just to bring a little bit more attention to what's actually being captured here in these photos featured on the homepage. So one thing I noticed here in the site menu, since we're able to see that here on the homepage in full, is that there might be some ways of consolidating some of the information contained in the site menu here under My Photographs. So basically what has been done here on the site is that there are a number of galleries contained in this user account, and those have been manually linked via the site menu to the specific galleries that are contained here. It might be useful to eliminate site menu items like featured and recently added, which would lead to your featured and recently added galleries, which is an option that you have in your account, but these may not always be utilized. You may not keep up with these. Is there any reason why someone would need to be routed directly to the Nepal and New York galleries versus any of the other galleries if they're interested in your featured galleries? Generally what a visitor is going to think when they go, oh, featured galleries this is what I'd like you to see first. So it might be useful to remove that site menu item. Also here in the recently added, since dates are included and displayed on the site, it might be useful to eliminate both of these because your visitors will be able to see that it's been quite a while since any new content has been added. I don't see that either the featured or the recently added are being utilized or are especially useful here, especially since they come up so close to the top under this My Photographs drop-down menu. So you might consider getting rid of the All My Photos featured and recently added site menu items. Another thing that I would consider, just in the effort of consolidating some of these site menu items, since this is such a long drop-down menu, would be creating groups in your account, maybe even based on something like the continents that these galleries were shot in. So you could have an Antarctica, an Africa, North America, South America, etc., and group these galleries based on the continent, so that then you could have as few as 7 site menu items in this drop-down under My Photographs. So just something to consider. It's always useful for visitors who are looking at your site to consolidate information as much as possible so that they have the easiest time navigating around your site. So just something to consider there. Let's have a look at some of these galleries. Definitely like the use of the caption, just to provide a little bit more information. But there are some things that could be done here to refresh the look of this page. You might consider trying out some different themes, because we have introduced a number of new layouts and themes that could maybe update the look of these images as they're displayed on the site. Also, eliminating any extraneous information in the page elements, so things like the created by date, availability of guestbook entries, the number of photos, breadcrumbs, all of these things can be toggled on or off. Same thing with these elements here on the bottom of the page. That way, it's really more about the images themselves. You can also toggle off pagination. So in this case, there's just a couple of pages. Might as well turn off the pagination so that that's one less click that your visitors would need to make to see all of the available images in that gallery. Not seeing any issues here with the shopping setup, and again, some really beautiful images. Oh, look how cute! It's so cute. Okay, so those are some things to consider in your gallery thumbnails pages, and unfortunately, I don't believe we'll have time to go through all of these galleries, but I would definitely encourage everyone to go to fireandicephoto.com. There are some really beautiful images here. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's helpful to have the pagination feature so that folks have to go page by page to see all the images? I'm seeing this site load pretty quickly when I just go ahead and show all of those images. Is that a feature that you utilize on your site? You find it helpful? I'd love to know your thoughts. So, really nice galleries, Mark, but definitely some flexibility here on the Zenfolio platform to get these pages updated and looking a little bit more contemporary in their presentation. So let's go on here to the guest book site menu item and see what we see. There's really a lot of great feedback that Mark has gotten here in the guest book. It's a nice use of this feature. I don't always recommend that folks link to their guest book in case that's not bringing a lot of value to the site, but there's been some really great feedback here, so I don't see a problem using the guest book feature on the site menu. Let's go in here to the blog page. So I did notice when I had a look at the blog that most of these entries are pretty outdated. Also, hey, North Carolina. I used to live about an hour away from the Outer Banks when I was in high school, so Used to love seeing storms rolling in out in that area. But again, with these blog entries, since the most recent entry was in 2016, you would have a few options. You can remove the dates from the blog posts. That's one way of doing this. Another way would be to copy and paste the source code from these blog posts into custom pages and do something like a drop down with the various custom pages showing a little bit more of these adventures in that kind of a presentation without it being utilized in the blog feature. So just based on the dates, I would say probably the easiest, fastest way to resolve this would just be to remove those post dates. You might even consider removing this date from this particular blog entry title. Though, within the blog posts themselves, you can always mention when these adventures happened, but for visitors who are coming to the site, it might make it seem like you're no longer actively shooting or that sort of thing. So it might be useful just to remove those dates from your blog posts. So looking here at the About page, this is familiar in that, some of this information is already here on the homepage, on Fire and Ice Photography's homepage. Of course, we didn't get to see how handsome Mark was on the homepage, so I loved this image. Looks like a very exciting adventure with a little bit of insight into Mark's personality there, so I definitely love the use of this image for the About page. But as far as there being new information, the artist statement and the welcome are already present there on the homepage, so it might be worth considering utilizing that welcome message on the homepage, and then for the About page, including slightly different information. So whether the artist statement is included under the welcome message versus the About message is definitely subjective. I'd love to know what you guys think in chat. Do you think an artist statement was better placed on a homepage, or is that something that a visitor should see on an About page? I would love to know your thoughts, since that is very much a subjective thing. But also, what do you guys think about having the same information across different areas of the site? Is it useful to have the same information on a homepage versus an About page? Would love to know what you think. Finally, we've got a contact form here. Same information on the homepage, but of course with the contact page, visitors get the opportunity to include some of their own information here. So also think that these links down here on the footer are very useful in case they have client accounts or need to be led directly to the site search page, which is also mirrored here in the toolbar. So because the kinds of photography that Mark is doing, I think that using those search bars is actually pretty useful. As long as those images are keyworded with the specific locations or what's being photographed, it's definitely useful to have that site search option there for folks visiting the site. So, as far as design and updates and these kinds of things, it's definitely worth exploring some of the options that are available under the customized website view. As some of you know, and hopefully most of you know, with customized view, you have a sandbox to kind of play around with any changes that you might want to make to the site before actually publishing them to your live site. So that's really useful in that you can test out a different preset, which will change the theme and the layout and the options for all your pages. So that's a great way just to get kind of a general refresh of a site. You can also just play around with new kinds of layouts and themes in customized view without immediately publishing those. So I would definitely recommend just playing around with that and seeing if there's anything that you think better highlights your photography in the customized view. It may also be useful to include any social media icons or links if those are available, just in case you're a little bit more active on social media than you are regularly updating your site. That could be useful for any visitors who come see the photography and want to stay more up to date with what you're up to. You might also consider, so since we're using the homepage menu and homepage logo here, just for consistency's sake, it might be worth considering, since it's that kind of a static layout, you might consider just including the header so that the site header would be the same on the homepage and all of these site pages, so that there's not that kind of design inconsistency between the homepage, which is fairly similar to the rest of the site. So, unfortunately, it looks like I'm running out of time, but I definitely wanted to thank Mark again for submitting his site for our review. And it really is a nice, well laid out site. Just some small edits could definitely improve the site presentation. I enjoy Mark's consistent branding and the photographs are beautiful, but just a few little tweaks here and there could really bring this site to the next level and utilize all of the available features. So thank you guys for joining us, and we will catch you next time.
Hey, thank you guys so much for watching that site review. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you click that subscribe button and hit the little bell icon so you get notified when we post videos and when we go live. Now, if you're interested in having your site reviewed, there's a link in the description below this video where you can submit your website for that. And in addition to getting a site review, you're also going to get a link where you can schedule a session with me. We're going to go over your website, go over the review. I'll answer any questions that you have and help you make any changes that you're interested in making. So the link to sign up for that is in the description below this video. Now, don't forget, Zenfolio Live coming up this Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope to see you guys there. Until then, I hope you have a great week.